All right. Hi, everyone. It is Queen Cole, and you are watching Light the Path podcast. Today, we have a special bonus episode for you. You are not going to want to miss this. I have Angela on the show. She is a family practice. She's a family nurse practitioner. Let me get her credentials right now. Now, she's in Grants, New Mexico, but she's a transplant from right here from Texas. So this is one of my home girls. So you definitely want to stay tuned for this. Currently, she works at a family practice clinic and she provides care for people from ages 1 and up. She also works 1 or 2 times a week at an off-site clinic that provides primarily deals with COVID-19 patients and other sick patients. Now, the reason why she's on the show today, because she received her first COVID-19 vaccine on December 15th, 2020, and she's slated to receive the second on January 5th, 2021. So we'll definitely have a follow-up. So we're recording this in December. We're going to merge the two together after she has her second dose so you can get the full episode. So help me welcome Angela to Light the Path. Hello.
How are you? Good.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate you lending your voice to this topic because it's a hot topic and I don't know if it's going to cool down.
Not, I don't think so. You're right. Thank you for having me. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. You're welcome. And again, not only being on the show, but just thank you for your service, working with everyone, being a nurse practitioner. There was one time I had an appointment and I had to wear the N95 for 8 hours. And I actually had a bruise on my nose. I had the lines on my face, but that was only for one day. And I could not even imagine you doing this day in and day out. So just thank you for doing what you do, because I feel like a nurse is really a servant heart. Like you gotta, because I would be like, nah, y'all sick. I'm out.
Yeah, and then me, I have to wear like the whole Tyvek suit. We have to wear goggles, like hair nets. It's pretty insane. The stuff
Yeah,
we
and
wear.
I'm mad because I'm going to Whole Foods with my little thing. I'm like, oh, I can't breathe. Girl, you can breathe. This is only for like 30 minutes. Like, so
You ain't even gonna be thinking about it in Whole Foods, yo. So
okay, so thank you. I mean, I can't say it enough to the medical field. Just thank y'all for the tireless days. And how has it been for you? How was 2020 for you?
2020's been different for sure. It's been definitely a whirlwind. Just trying to kind of, figure out how to take care of people with a disease that you've never ever seen in your life before. I mean, you're like, well, I think all of us in the medical community at first were like, it's going to just be like the flu. It's going to be fine. And then as time went on and we started reading more research and what was happening in Seattle and New York, it was insane. It's been insane for sure.
Okay, so tell us about your typical day. How does that go? Is there even a typical day anymore?
Not anymore. I mean, what our practice has been doing is we have two different clinics. So we have one clinic we consider the clean clinic, and then we have another clinic that's considered the offsite dirty clinic, if you want to call it that. But primarily, there's nobody that comes into the clean clinic. We try to keep that as safe as possible for our pregnant patients, the babies that come in, and even the older people that want to come in and do some of their wellness stuff or just get out of the house, And so when I'm working at the regular clinic, it's kind of just, cut and dry. We're mostly doing physicals or, seeing sick patients, or not seeing sick patients, but seeing well patients and doing their physicals. And then at the sick clinic, it's, you're gowned down for the whole 8 hours. So it's pretty intense. And it's when we hit our wave, which was probably about mid-October-ish, it was maybe 30, 40 patients a day, upwards of 50 getting swabbed a day. So
Wow. That's it's like I can't even wrap my brain around it. Like even when I hear the COVID numbers, you can't even count that far. No. It's crazy.
And I mean, this is a very small community as well. So for it to get as hard as it was interesting. It's crazy.
So is it mandatory for everyone in your office to receive the vaccine?
No, it wasn't mandatory. So this was strictly volunteer. They gave us basically like a 5 or 6 page packet that we had to read through to understand the risks. And we had to sign off saying that we were okay with getting it regardless of the risks.
Okay. So now, did you get COVID in 2020 dealing with all these patients?
No, I did not. Luckily, I was able to, social distance. I mean, as soon as it happened, I was scared. So I said, I want to be able to be healthy for my patients because it takes you out for 2 weeks. So I can't leave a practice for 2 weeks with my patients. My patients are they're elderly. They need their health care. So I had to be there. I had to make sure I avoided it at all costs.
Okay, well, that's good. Thank God. I'm glad. Thank God. I'm glad to hear that. So, what made you come to this decision to get the vaccine? What the
It
packet?
was
Yes, but what? Tell us the truth right now.
like it's crazy because for me it was like a no-brainer. I just said as soon as I heard about that there was a vaccine coming out, I said, I'm going to take it regardless because this is what's going to help us get through this COVID-19. I mean, we're going to have to have something to give us immunity. So when I heard about it, I started reading, I started researching. I knew exactly what I was getting myself into. There was no doubt in my mind to get it.
Mm, okay, wow. Cause see, well, with your profession, do you take the flu shot also?
I take that. I've taken it every year for the last 12 years, I believe.
Okay, because see me, and this is why I think this conversation is very intriguing because I've never taken the flu shot. I've had
Really?
the flu once. My children, who are young adults, never. I've never gave it to them. And then when my oldest, my daughter, went to the military, and as she was, doing the process, she had to take the flu shot, and
Yeah.
so she took it, and she got very sick, and so I'm like, it's not on my watch. You know what I mean? Like I was
Right.
removed from it. I'm like,
And
you
I
made
think, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I
no,
think
no,
that's
go ahead.
I think that's like the reason why most people are really scared because a lot of people that don't get the flu vaccine, it's because they're like, I get sick every single time. But, honestly, that's a good response. That's what your body is supposed to do. As soon as it sees something foreign, it's supposed to attack it and you're supposed to get it's not really sick, but it's your immune system just working really hard to try to make sure it can fight this thing off if it sees it again.
Okay, so what brand did you receive? Was it the Moderna? What is it? AstraZeneca? And it's crazy how we can say AstraZeneca, but we can't say Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm gonna keep
What
going. Or
happened?
did you get Pfizer? And if so, which brand did you get? And then what's the difference? Tell us that.
So I actually got the Pfizer vaccine because that was the one that was first approved by the FDA. I was actually hoping that I was going to get the Pfizer vaccine. I did research on both that one and the Moderna. Um, so the difference between the three. So Pfizer and Moderna are essentially the same thing. It's an mRNA vaccination, and what that means is that it's basically like a little tiny message that your body that the vaccine gives your body to make. Protein. So there's a specific type of protein that's on the coronavirus that attaches to your cells, and then once it attaches, it takes over that entire cell and it tells it to create more like viruses. It's basically like becomes the virus's factory, so it produces itself over and over again. So with this vaccine, when it's injected, it tells your body create this specific protein. So when you see it again, you know that you need to attack it and get rid of it. So that's the Pfizer and that's the Moderna. The AstraZeneca, I didn't really do a whole heck of a lot of research on that one, but basically what it is it takes a different virus. I think it's the adenovirus, and it like they modified it genetically so that it would create the same kind of protein. So it would tell your body create this protein to attack the virus, but it does it in a different way because it's injecting you with like an attenuated, which means like a parts or particles of the virus, of a different virus.
Okay. Okay. See, I'm one of the people. I'm not sold yet. I'm like, y'all got to get a few more people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which,
Okay. But that's why you're here, because to educate us. I mean, because I'm one of the ones. I'm telling you, I'm one of the ones. Like, no.
and and another reason, like not only for my patients, because it's the Black community. I mean, the Black community and just any community that the minority, we have been affected disproportionately. And so, I mean, this is the vaccine that I feel that we all need to get because we're dying in droves. I mean, just the African American community, the Latin community, it's bad. So that was another reason, like me being a Black woman working in the medical field, I wanted to show people it's safe. It's okay to get this vaccine. That you're not going to grow extra appendages. You're not going to be sterile. I mean, a lot of those myths that people have been putting out there have been debunked. They have been proven. They're not in science. This is the reason why I went into healthcare, because I love science. I love the fact that, we know how the body works. We know that the mind controls a lot of things. We know how the body can fight off disease, and it's amazing. So I think it's awesome.
Okay, and you've had one dose, and you're not clucking. So I'm like, I'm putting a toe in the water because I'm here for the conversation, to hear, to listen. So what are the doses, and then what are the side effects with it?
So you get the Pfizer vaccines, I think it's like 30 something. I can't remember what it is, but you get the first dose, and then about 3 weeks later, you get the second dose. So my first dose I got this past Tuesday, and I was kind of caught off guard when I got it, but it was awesome. I was like, yes, I've been ready. Everybody at work knew I was excited to get this vaccine. So when I got it, that first day I was fine. And then right at the 24-hour mark of the vaccine, I got like this profound like fatigue. So I was a little bit tired at work. I got it about 2:30. So it was about 3:00 in my work day. And I just got so tired. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the vaccine. Okay, like let me calm down. And then I got like a little bit of body aches, but I was still able to finish work. I was still able to see patients, and I left work probably about 5:15, came home and laid down, and I was fine. I got a little bit of a low-grade fever that night, like 99 or something like that. I slept fine. I mean, it really didn't even feel like I got a vaccine aside from my arm hurting. So my arm hurt a pretty good amount. So I just took some Tylenol, thinking, take Tylenol, and I was fine. So about 48 hours, I was normal again. So I've been fine since then. No issues. And I even still went to work the next day after I was feeling bad. So
okay. That's interesting. And I'm glad to hear, because I want to hear more real people say it, because when you see Queen Cole say that I've got on TV, if you see me on TV saying it, they didn't pay me enough for my kids and my kids' kids to be like, oh yeah, my arm was just sore. So this is why this is why Light the Path is here, to shed the light on everyday people. You're in the field, you're doing it. Nobody's paying you to say, no, I'm not clucking like a chicken, but then they clucking like a chicken. So
yeah, they're not paying me. I'd probably be on like an airplane or something right now doing this interview if they were paying me, but no, nobody's paying me. No.
Yes. So will your family receive the vaccine?
Oh my gosh. So I didn't tell my family until about a week before, because I knew what was going around, what was in the news, because the news only reports the bad stuff.
Me and your sister friend would have been calling.
Yeah. So I didn't tell my mom and dad until about a week before. So my mom, she's a prayer warrior. So she prayed and prayed and prayed, girl. She was ready. And so I got it. And then the next day they called every day to check in. And I've been fine. And so, I think I've really changed a lot of my family members' minds about getting it, because they were all like, no way are we getting this vaccine. My aunts, my uncles, they were all calling me like, are you okay? Are you fine? I said, I'm fine. I was like, I'm fine. But yeah, my family, they're now going to get it, since I was the guinea pig. So I said, I'm going to do this not only for my patients, my family, the community. My family, they decided to just go ahead and bite the bullet and get it as well. But they're going to wait and see how I do on the second vaccine, and then they'll make their decision from there.
Okay. And I'm going to have you back on the show for a part 2, so we can merge the two together and we're going to get the full story.
Yeah. I know at that point you'll be like, okay, now you can really tell us what's going on.
So will you still wear a mask after receiving the vaccine?
Absolutely. I'm still going to mask. I'm still going to social distance, because, even though, I read a lot about this vaccine and I know a lot, I really don't want to infect somebody else if I get it, even though I might do fine. If I get coronavirus, the person that I give it to might not. So yes, absolutely. Still going to mask, still going to social distance.
Okay. And then what about this? Because I don't know if I even researched this, but can you still get COVID after getting the vaccine?
You can still get COVID after getting the vaccine. And that's the part that is kind of up in the air. Like we know that it's effective against COVID, but you can still get it, but it's not going to be as bad, or it shouldn't be. You shouldn't be hospitalized. It shouldn't be death. That's the thing with COVID is it's Russian roulette. You don't know if you're going to do well, if you're going to do bad, if you're going to have no symptoms. You just don't know. So yes.
Yeah, okay. Because see, I guess that's the part of me that wants to wait and see, because I'm like, okay, this is sort of rushed to market in my opinion, but I know that it's rushed to market because we're in a global pandemic, so it's
Exactly.
needed. So I you know what I mean, you got both of those factors, but then on the other hand, I'm like chickenpox, you get it one time, you don't get it again, or if you get something, you get the adult shingles. So it's like, you know what I mean, like it's a separation. And with COVID, it's so new. It's like, it's hard to say, how do we know?
Right. But the thing of it is also is that with COVID, some of the long-term outcomes that we're seeing with these patients, it's horrible. I mean, for example, I have two patients right now that I'm still shadowing that got COVID probably about a month. One of them got it about a month ago. This patient did perfectly fine through COVID. She was a little, I'm lying. I'm lying. She had like mild symptoms, I'll say. And then she came back to work. She was fine. And then a couple of days later, she started getting profoundly short of breath. Now, this is a young, athletic woman that runs 4 to 5 miles a day. She can barely walk from her car to in the building without being significantly short of breath. And we're even working her up to think that she may have had some cardiac outcomes because now her EKGs are abnormal. So there's a lot of long-term after effects of COVID that I'm more worried about than this vaccine. I think that it's kind of risk versus benefit. You have to weigh it. You get COVID, you may be fine. You may not have any long-term outcomes, or you may be the one that's in the hospital for a month on a ventilator. And then you still have 6 months of rehab or recovery. And then after that, you may have damage to your kidneys, your lungs, your heart. It's insane. Whereas the vaccine, you're getting some protection in that sense that you won't end up hospitalized, or maybe not. I can't say that emphatically, or you won't die. That's in my thing, that scale is very uneven. Taking the risk and getting COVID is, you don't know what's going to happen. But the vaccine, a little bit about what's going to happen. That you're going to have some immunity. You're going to maybe get a little body aches, a little fatigue. Okay, I can deal with that. That's fine. So,
Yeah.
And the other thing that I'd like to mention as well is, people are talking about this vaccine being so rushed, but think back to the Spanish influenza. So the Spanish flu back in 1918, 1920s, they didn't understand that it was created by a virus at that time. They didn't realize that it was influenza, but in about the 1930s, they created a flu vaccine within about 3 years. And that's 100 years ago. So to me, this is modern technology. Back then we had cars that could only go 10 miles. Now we have cars that can go, around the world 100 times. So, technology and science has advanced a lot. That's why we have scientists. They study this stuff. They want to understand how it works and how to create things to help people. So
yeah. I'm shaking my head yes to you.
I'm ready.
But I'm not in line yet. That's all I'm saying. I'm shaking my head. I'm open to the conversation.
Yes.
I'm
That's what it's about. It's about opening, and that's what I say in my practice. It's about opening you up. I am basically a map. I mean, you're going to go to this foreign destination. I'm the person that's going to guide you around it. That's it. You make your decision of where you want to go, how you want to do it, how you want to take your treatment. So that's what I like.
I like that. So how long does it take to build up immunity after getting the vaccine?
So from the study that I read, it's about day 12 that you start to develop immunity after the first vaccine. And then on the 20-day mark, you get the third vaccine. And then I want to say, don't quote me anybody, I think it's like 28 to 30 days after that, you have the full immunity. So, creating immunity 12 days out, and then 28-day mark, you're pretty much, you've developed enough immunity to fight the virus. So.
Okay. Well, that's really good. And the final thing that I want to ask you about, because you talked a little bit about your family, not, being on board, like I said, I'm listening, but I'm in line yet. So for our conspiracy theory friends and the people who are not willing to receive the vaccine, what do you want them to know right now?
Oh my gosh. I mean, you eat Big Macs, you eat You go to McDonald's, you drink Red Bulls. I mean, like there's so much stuff that you don't know what's in it, and some of these things have even harmed people. I mean, Red Bulls have caused heart attacks in people. You know, you really should listen to your provider. I mean, if your provider is saying that this is something that you need to have, you should get, then you should listen to them. You know, we went to school for a long time, and the first thing we do is do no harm. We don't want to harm people. So these conspiracy theorists, they're just pulling little small things out of this research study and trying to make it into something, but it's not. But you know what? In a world like this, there's always going to be room for debate and room for arguments. But I think this one right now, to protect your family, your mother, your grandmother, you just need to get the vaccine, or at least follow somebody that is getting the vaccine and see how they do, and make an educated decision. Do your research, please.
Okay. So we're all following you. You got the Light the Path crew. We all behind you. We all. I mean, and you know, it's crazy because even like you said, you know, you had the different symptoms. You took Tylenol. You know, Tylenol fixed everything. Why is this?
It's a life change. That or alcohol, you know.
It's like, if we could I just get 4 Tylenol?
Yeah.
Gonna go away.
Yeah, they were like, when I went back to work the next day, because I took Tylenol the day I got the vaccine, they were like, you were smart to do that. I was like, yeah, I didn't, you know, I read the study, I knew the side effects that you could get. I was like, I really wanted to be able to still work, and I don't want to miss work. That's my biggest thing. I have to be at work.
Well, thank you so much for being on Light the Path, and tell everyone where they can follow you so that way they can get updates.
Well, you can look me up on Facebook. Me and my wife actually share an account, so it's Angela Natasha Montgomery. I'm also on Instagram at blissfully_serene is my username. I haven't been posting as much on there as I have been Facebook though. So.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. We can't wait to hear part 2. All right, everybody. See y'all later.
Thank you.